Welcome to episode 26 of the Industry Angel. I hope you're enjoying this summer and recharging those batteries. Hopefully there's been no injuries, recreating some of those Olympic Games. The hospitals must surely see an increase. And your swimming pools, I hope they're not as green as the Rio ones. Do you know, I've really enjoyed some of those athletes' interviews though. Those Irish O'Donovan brothers were excellent, weren't they, the rowers? I mean, commitment and focus literally years in advance for just one event. It's so inspiring. If you're on vacation, have a safe time, build those memories. Apologies if the timing of the podcast has been a bit late, actually. Skype have had a few issues and I've had some fantastic guests booked in. And when we've come to try and record the episodes, it hasn't been working. So I've had to kind of cut the chat brief, and we've had these lined up in the diaries for months as well. So we'll get them back again. So, they've been absolute rock stars as well. And that leads us nicely to today's guest. Today we have the founder and managing director of the Rockstar Group, the UK's largest entrepreneur mentoring firm. Welcome, Jonathan Pfahl.
Hi, how are you, Ian?
Jonathan, I'm great. The sun's shining. I'm having time off with the family. I get to speak with rock stars like you. Do you see what I did there?
Well, I don't know whereabouts in the world you are, but in our offices here in the city, it's raining, it's windy, and it's supposed to be August. You wouldn't think that, given what's outside from where I'm sitting. I tell you.
Really? Wow. Well, I'm in the northeast, Jonathan.
Oh, there you go.
It's always sunny here.
I was going to say the sun's always shining on the northeast, isn't it?
You've given us a right damper there straight. I was expecting you to say the sun's shining, it's cracking the pavements, you're loving life. I'm sitting here in shorts and vest. This is how cool my job is.
There you go. I wish I could say the same. I'm in a suit, so hats off to you, my friend.
No worries. So listen, we've got half an hour set up here, and I want to hear all about Rockstar mentoring, okay?
Mm-hmm, sure.
But I've got to congratulate you first because it's nearly 10 years since you founded Rockstar.
Yeah, it is. We turn 10 in September next year. So, that'll be a big party for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, so why didn't you take us back? Was it 07?
2007, yes, it was.
Yeah, why don't you take us back, Jonathan? You know, how did this all start?
Sure. Well, I mean, I've always believed in the concept of mentoring. I think if you want to be successful in business, whether it's your own business or you're working for someone else, the fastest way to achieve the success you want is to find someone who's already achieved what you want to do, who's already hit those goals and learnt those lessons and made those mistakes, and get someone like that to show you how to achieve the goals you want to do based on their real life experience, their guidance, and their contacts. And, I've been mentored on 2 occasions. When I was working in the city, I sought the expertise of a mentor to help me grow as an individual when I was an employee. When I then wanted to get into investment property, I found a gentleman who had built a multi-million-pound portfolio in a short period of time, and I paid him to take me out and show me how to do it, show me how to negotiate, show me how to find great deals. He then introduced to me his legal team, his builders, his finance guys, and it just fast-tracked the success. I mean, I made about 10 times what I paid him in the first 3 months from just one deal, and a deal that I never would have had if it wasn't for him. So I then began mentoring for the first time in the property sector, and I absolutely loved it. So I went from being a mentee to a mentor because I'd built a quite a large portfolio in London. And this is between 2005 and 2007, and I absolutely loved it. I was all over the country, mentoring different people, helping them achieve financial success, and it was just wonderful. And I looked at the whole mentoring model of this business. I looked at how this business was operating and how it was working, and it was a very profitable, high-margin business. And I looked at the market, and there wasn't a business mentoring company. There was the Business Link, which was a Labour government platform you might remember, which is no longer with us. May it rest in peace. And the other one, of course, was the Prince's Trust, which I have a huge amount of respect for. But of course, unless you're of a certain age and from a privileged background, it's very difficult to get access to their mentors. So that's how it started. I thought, what if I went out and found the big name mentors from the sectors and from all the different sectors, and convinced them to be a Rockstar mentor. The name came about because I used to be a singer in a rock and roll band. That's where the name came from, Rockstar. And I did some research on it, and it turned out favorably. And so, like I've always done with every startup that I've built and every company that I work with, I'm always telling them to prove to yourself first you're building something that people want. Because that's why so many startups fail. They build something and
Sure.
then they go out and hope that people want it. I'm the complete opposite. Know who your perfect customers are, contact them, and get them to hear what the idea is and get them to mold what your unique selling points are going to be. So I got 100 of my perfect customers in the room. I didn't even have a website. I didn't even know I was going to call it Rockstar. And I was asking them, do you like this whole concept? Would you pay for it? How much would you pay for it? And they were giving me great answers to that to help me assess that this was something good. But the most important question I asked them and continue to ask businesses now is to get these customers, to tell me, what am I missing? To actually ask them the question, what is this product or offer missing? Or what does it need, in another way to put it? What does it need that would make you want to buy this right now? And you'd be amazed to hear the answers you always get. And when they give you those answers, all you then do is you're implementing them into your business. And once it's done, you've got customers who are ready to buy.
Jonathan, that's excellent. I mean, that is your minimal viable product. You put them 100 in there, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and try to let them shape it. How did you get them 100 in the room?
Well, it was these days you can simply go to City Business Library and get a librarian to pull the whole data list for you, or you can go to one of these online cost-effective sites such as Fiverr and get someone from outside the UK to build you the list. But what I did was I knew who my perfect customer was going to be. I knew they were going to be the key decision maker of an SME with a turnover bracket between X and Y. And they were going to be in these sectors. So I personally, because this is back in 2007, um, made that list myself through LinkedIn. So I built the list of who I wanted to get. I got 1,000 names in total. Managed to get contact with 400 of them, and invited those 400, of which 100 of them showed up to a physical event. And with them in the room, I got them in the room by firstly complimenting them and on the businesses that they had achieved. And starting an initial conversation with a compliment is always a good place to start. And I also said the room's going to be filled with some other fantastic directors of their level. The networking is going to be great. Enjoy the drinks, enjoy the canapes. But for half an hour on the evening, I just would love you as a young entrepreneur. I've got an idea that I think would be of value to yourself, but I'm not going to assume. I want you to come along, hear what the idea is, and I'd love to get your feedback. And you'd be amazed how many people are happy to do that for other people. So yeah, I still do that to this day.
Thanks for that, Jonathan. I think that's gold. And sometimes we skim over things like that, but just going back there and doing the groundwork, the legwork, and getting that list. It might seem like nothing to you, but for our listeners now, I'm sure they took that away and thought, "Wow, I can do this."
Yeah, yeah. And it cost me nothing. I used an accountant's office that I'd just become a client of, and they were more than happy to pay for drinks and canapes because I was bringing over 100 SMEs with turnovers in the millions to their office in London. And
Cool.
but the most important thing is that night I left with 85 customers who said, if you find me a mentor who's achieved X, Y, and Z themselves and can get me and show me how to achieve one, two, and three, I'll happily pay the thousands of pounds you want to charge me because I'm going to make a hell of a lot more than that. And I'm going to make a very strong return on investment. So it was very easy to get out of bed each day and launch Rockstar because I had 85 customers who were ready to pay money. All I had to do was go out and find the mentors. And within a 6-month period of time, I'd done it for 67 of them. And the business really, really started well.
Brilliant. Did you know what you were going to charge, Jonathan, on that first night? When you had the 85 sign up, what were they signing up
Of
to?
course. In my mind, as I said, I was looking at the model that I was already doing in the property side. So I had an idea in my mind of what the pricing should be. So I always, of course, with anyone, all the entrepreneurs out there, especially in the startup world, if you've got the idea, you need to, of course, create and come up with different USPs, and you need to have a feel as to where you think the pricing should be. And so when you're doing these events, it doesn't have to be 100 on one. You could be doing 10 on one and do 10 of those events. You could be doing 100 times one-to-one meetings if you were that way inclined.
Sure.
But the most important question is, so the basic one. So do you like this whole concept? Would you pay for it? How much would you pay for it? In my mind, I think the pricing is this. Of course, you need to know that. But the most important question is, what am I missing? what is missing in this product right now that if it was there, you would be like, that is a no-brainer. I need that product. I want to buy that product. And when you get those people to give you that information and that data, it's you're going to hear things that you as the entrepreneur would never have thought of yourself.
Sure, fantastic. I'm loving that. So, how's it going now? So, all these years later, has that product or service that you first shaped back then, is it moved on?
It's moved on, yes, but it is still there. I mean, the mentors and the mentoring is still the core of everything that we do. But we
Okay.
look at the industry and we thought, I mean, because back then there were two. There was Business Link and Prince's Trust. Now, here we are. There are many mentoring businesses and companies offering mentoring. I mean, we've effectively created an industry here, which is wonderful. So we always like to stay ahead of the curve, and we do a lot of stuff with investment now because a lot of our mentors are investors. They're all entrepreneurs who have started, built up, sold companies for large sums, and they enjoy the mentoring. They're paid for their time, but if they really like a business, then they've always had the opportunity to invest in those companies. So over the last few years, what we've done is we've created different products to cater for and assist our businesses and our mentors to grow and be more successful. So the firstly on the mentoring front, we launched Rockstar Business World earlier this year, which is an international mentoring platform, which is now available. It's a website already, so rockstarbusinessworld.com, and it's also an app, so it's available on Play Store and the App Store as well too. And
So, can I just jump in there, Jonathan? So, are we speaking with mentors across the websites and apps without actually face to face,
no,
or?
no. So how it works is I've interviewed every single one of them on film, and I've asked
Mhm.
all of them. I've done about 100 interviews so far, and I've asked all of them the same key questions because these are all guys and girls who have started, built, sold companies for multiple millions, or if they haven't sold them on yet, the companies are valued in the multiple millions, but from all different sectors. So what we've done is because we've asked them all the same questions, we've broken down the answers into the different categories. So a user now downloads the app for free. They create their profile because then, there are ways that they promote themselves to an international audience. But if they want to get mentored, they click on the Get Mentored button. It then asks them firstly what sector they're in, because if they're in the retail sector, there's no point being mentored by someone in the mining sector. So they tell us the sector they're in, and then it says, well, what do you need help with right now? What are you looking for a mentor for? And then there are these 8 different categories from the idea and starting up all the way through to building a multi-million pound business and selling it on. So the user says, I'm in retail and I really am looking for help now in my marketing. So by giving us those two bits of information, out of the hundreds of hours that exist on the app, it only then pulls out for them all of the big name retail guys, giving them the answers they want right now in front of them for free on marketing. And as they're watching all of the different videos, of course, I mean, the value that everyone's giving is incredible, but everyone has different personality types. So the user who's watching it really will resonate with one or two of those mentors. And underneath each and every one of those videos is a button that says book one to one. So they're able
Ah,
to get a real feel for who the mentor is and the sort of style they have and the sort of value they can give first for free. Then, of course, they can book further one to one time, which they then pay for if they wish to.
so that one-to-one time, Jonathan, could that be remote?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, of course, if they're in the same city, they can, of course, do it face to face. But we've got clients in Japan, in Hong Kong, paying for mentoring, and that's all done via a video link. So yes, it can absolutely be remote. And the reason I did it was because it's a very, very fast way to internationalize what we're doing. And
Sure,
secondly, in today's age of technology, consumers are a lot more relaxed in how they get access to content, knowledge, and information. And
for
online,
sure.
more of them there's a preference there for it. So that's the first part of the app, and then of course they can promote themselves. So they can pay a very small amount to advertise their company. So I'm talking about the users here. They can
Yeah.
pay to advertise their own businesses on the Rockstar platform. But again, when I was building the app, I had 100 people in the room and I asked, do you like it? Would you pay for it? How much would you pay for it? What am I missing? And one of the things people, the first answer someone gave me was, well, the mentoring's great, but if the platform is built on a social network, can't we use it to promote ourselves? So that wasn't my idea. That's a great example of someone in the room telling me what I should add. And that started the conversation. So we then did that. How much should we charge for the ad? We agreed £27 as a starting point. And then someone else piped up and said, if it's built on a social network, Jonathan, can we pay for a Rockstar ad and then share it across all of our other social feeds for free? I said, that's a great idea. I asked the developer and they said, yep, we can do that. That's absolutely fine. So now we can optimize the ad across all of their existing social media platforms. So we leverage off Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., to actually promote this person's business. And then the final thing it does is someone came along and said, look, I don't have a business yet, but I'm really pitching for investment at the moment. Could we create an area where I can put my video pitch and my pitch deck and business plan and offer that out to investors on the network? So this whole platform has been built around my customers telling me what they wanted. And in a very short space of time, we've already got over 50,000 people on it, and that number continues to grow.
So you've totally changed your business there, John. I'm just thinking, you're a kind of a mentoring business, which is what a service, and now you've gone to a tech. You're a tech company essentially with products.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's where for all the time. I'm ratting my brand. Where is the market going? Where is technology taking us? How can we leverage off technology, still be true to the brand that we've built and the brand that we're very highly regarded in, which is mentoring and investment, and use a platform such as this or create an app such as this that still offers mentoring, but leverages off technology to do it in a much scalable fashion, in a much scalable way. So yes, I mean, and that's just the start of it. We now have our own investment fund. We have our own crowd fund. So rockstarcrowdfunding.com, Rockstar Capital, and we've given ourselves and given our investors a specific platform, and our clients now have their own bespoke platform that they can use to raise money in investment. So our equity stakes in different companies continues to increase, and we as a group, there are now 22 companies in the group. They're not all branded Rockstar, of course, because a lot of them, of course, companies that we've invested in or partnered with. So no, it's
Sure.
certainly grown, certainly been a journey.
So in terms of internationalize the business, where do you see the most growth? Which countries?
Well, at the moment, I would have to say, I mean, the mentors that we've got on the app so far are outside of the UK. It's predominantly the UK, but outside of the UK, we've got Australia, my native Australia, where there's a big surge in growth of innovation happening there with its new prime minister. We have a couple of interviews, and that's growing very much in China as well. So I'm in China 2-3 times a year. I was there in April visiting entrepreneurs and investors and high-profile entrepreneurs as to interview. And this is a model doesn't exist yet in China. So we're currently looking at the translation option that we can have there.
Excellent. Just in terms of that, getting the audience levels up, how are you going about that? What's the marketing look like?
Well, I mean, here's one of them we're doing today. So it's a combination, really, Ian. It's a combination of online and offline. So we've
Okay.
just finished a very fun YouTube video, which we hope is going to be a viral success, which talks about what the solutions are to people's problems in terms of what the app does, but at the same time does it in a fun, quirky way. I do a lot of speaking. As you said before, you've seen me speak live before. So we do a lot of events and speaking at least, twice a week. I'm on stage somewhere talking about it and getting people to use it, etc. So it's a combination, looking at doing a proper 6-week spurt campaign soon across all channels. So, social media, advertising in the newspapers, on the tube, etc. So we're still molding that strategy at the moment. But you've got to do it, to get the sort of volume you want. If you can do it cost effectively, do it. But we're finding that you have to invest quite a bit of money in the marketing side, at least at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. So have you took investment yourself, Jonathan?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've put in a lot of my own money, but I've raised $250,000 for it, and we're actually looking at potentially doing a further fundraise once we've got, once it's on, once we hit a certain level of users, we'll probably look to raise some more for it as well.
Sure. Excellent. So are you yourself a mentor?
Yeah, I am. I mean, on the app, yes. I mean, you'll see me on every video because I'm the one who's interviewing people. So
Sure.
no, I do mentor, absolutely. I'm quite limited though to the number of clients that I can take on at any one time because I've got a business to run with a number of companies in the group. But I still get such a kick out of it. I absolutely love it, and seeing the results when clients are listening and seeing the results start, and the looks on their faces and how fast we can fast track their businesses. It's a great feeling. I absolutely love it.
It's a really good point you made there, Jonathan. That you've got a business to run yourself. So thinking from the mentor side, how can they offer this time? Are these guys and girls sort of coming to the end of the career maybe, or they found a bit more time?
Yeah,
Or?
they found more time because they've just sold their company for multiple millions. So
Right,
yes, they
okay.
have a lot of time. I mean, I was in a meeting yesterday with one of my property mentors who, I wanted him to, I wanted to be there because we're actually doing. There are two of us mentoring this one business, and this is a guy who's got a property portfolio worth over 20 million quid. He earns hundreds of thousands of pounds a year in passive income. He's got all the time in the world, so he's always saying, I can take on 10 mentees at any time because, I love it, I enjoy it, and I've got the time.
I mean, that's a great point that you say there, that he loves it and he enjoys it, because I think financially it's probably not really touching him,
No, no, no.
but he's getting he's getting enjoyment out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these guys set their rates, so they do earn good money for their time, but you could never be employed as a full-time mentor and earn
Sure.
it's certainly not a full-time job, but you're absolutely right. They're not doing it for the money. I can tell you that.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at. Well, Jonathan, that's an amazing insight. It's been brilliant. Across the episodes of this podcast, we've spoke a lot about mentoring. It's very frequently dropped in by some of the business owners we've interviewed.
Great.
They push mentoring quite a lot. They always say, I've really helped by having a mentor and also mentoring, having mentees.
Yep.
So yeah, you've got something that's definitely out there, and there's definitely a need for it.
No, without question. I think that'll only continue as well, and that's why we built the app. We thought, how can we reach this? How can we give this value to people all over the world? If for all these young startups who may not be able to afford a physical one-to-one session, how can we still have them listen to the advice of very, very successful people from all different sectors and the sectors that they're looking for, and that's a really unique thing, and that's why we're so happy with it, and continue to do interviews. We're interviewing more and more mentors all the time. So yeah, really, really excited for the future.
Definitely, we're going to watch this with interest. So can we download the app now, Jonathan?
You can. So it's on Google Play, Rockstar Business World, and the Apple Store. It'll be there very, very soon. If it's not there by the time viewers are listening, just jump on App Store and check out Rockstar Business World. But it's with them now and should be up there very soon.
Excellent stuff. I'm going to download that.
Cool. And if you live under a rock and don't have a smartphone, then rockstarbusinessworld.com is the exact same platform as well. So which is optimized for mobile and tablet.
Well, Jonathan, thanks for your time. I've really enjoyed it.
No, absolute pleasure, Ian. Thank you.
That was Jonathan Pfahl from Rockstar. As I mentioned in the interview there, mentoring is such a hot topic and something I really think is underutilized. If anyone is a mentor or a mentee, I'd love to hear your experience. Drop me a line. My details are on industryangel.com. I do see every email. I will reply. Instructions are also on there on how to leave us an iTunes or a Stitcher review. Remember, really important you do that for us. It attracts new listeners and helps amazing guests come onto the show. A quick thank you, I must say, to all your well-wishers after I mentioned my startup Far North had recently turned 1. We've got some amazing clients, and if you're a client and you listen to this, thanks for your support as well. So until next time, I'm Ian Farah, this is the Industry Angel, and thanks for listening.